So we are indeed back. I decided not to be a one-hit wonder, so you're welcome for that. And there's more that I want to talk about. Today we're going to be talking about something that I briefly mentioned in my intro video, and that was my decision to not play my senior season of lacrosse. Obviously a lot's played into that decision, and I want to just fully unpack it. And just explain how I ended up here today. So buckle up. And let's get into it. So we're gonna start from fetus Riley to current Riley and really just explain, I guess, who I am as a person and like some of my tendencies that kind of play into this decision that I made. So if we want to get technical and start from the womb, I was born 7 pounds, 10 ounces with very high levels of competitiveness coursing through my veins. Let's think of an example. Family pickleball games. God forbid I lose. I'm pissed off, I'm cursing, and the rest of my day is essentially ruined. It's obnoxious, to say the least, but it's me. It's who I am. I think my parents were definitely able to recognize that competitiveness in me at a young age, and that's where sports came into play. And I started playing a bunch of different sports at like a young age, and I love them. Growing up, I was definitely a tomboy. I think in 4th and 5th grade, I would have equated dressing nice to school as a mortal sin, to say the least. So I was very much the sporty girl growing up. This is like a super niche example, but I remember in 5th grade, we did this activity where everyone wrote down something nice about their classmates, and I think every single one of them said athletic or sporty. So that's just how everyone knew me. So obviously throughout middle school and high school, I kept playing sports. In high school, I really started to hone in on lacrosse. And as soon as the recruiting process started to come into play, I don't think there was ever a doubt in my mind about wanting to play in college. Like, I just knew that it was something that I wanted to do, and I knew that I could. Inherently, as people, I mean, we like to do stuff that we're good at, and that was always sports for me. I honestly think I got pretty used to being the best on the team and my coaches loving me and spending every second of a game on the field. So those things that I definitely got used to playing sports growing up definitely gave me confidence, and so I didn't really have a reason to not think that I was really good. But as the time came to transition from high school to college, those things that I was, again, used to turned into expectations. So when my expectations were for my coaches to love me and for me to be one of the best, I was really only setting myself up for disappointment, because I was physically ready, but I was not mentally ready. I think that can also be applied to life in general. When your expectations are so high, it correlates with disappointment. Like, if you don't meet those expectations, you're going to disappoint yourself. So it's better to just lead with hope and faith in yourself, but don't expect anything from yourself. And trust me, this is coming from someone who has very high expectations for themselves. And I'm notoriously very hard on myself, a little bit too hard on myself. And I think that has kind of shot me in the foot a little bit with my college career. So I think the best way to describe my college career is high highs and low lows. There were definitely, I think, moments where I was finding that confident high school self that I was before, and then the low lows really crept in, and those expectations that I held myself to kind of actually totally got in the way. Something that I didn't necessarily realize in the moment, but I'm definitely realizing now that I stepped away from lacrosse, is I allowed my confidence and my self-worth to be determined by a sport and not by who I am as a person. So since I kind of allowed that to happen, a bad day at practice kind of turned into a bad day as a whole. And obviously that's not the way to live life. You know, our days should not be determined by how we do at practice or how many times we mess up. But when you're in that moment, it's so hard to separate the two of those things. And so it just turned into a cycle of me thinking that my life sucked, but I'm honestly so grateful that that's what I was worried about and that's what was making me upset. So I definitely think it's taken a lot of maturing to finally realize what I was doing to myself and how unfair I was treating myself. And I think there was just a moment in time when I realized that I had to allow myself to step away if I wanted to grow and heal. Kind of a way that I put it to myself and remind myself is that I'm strong for being able to walk away from something that was no longer serving me. And although there's definitely moments where I wish that I could have developed strategies, or I could have just honestly like smacked myself across the face and been like, it's okay. Like you don't have to be perfect, you know? And so I wish that I could have kind of rediscovered my love for the sport, but sometimes in life you just can't go back on the past and you can't dwell on anything. I also just think that there was essential growth and things that I needed to face head on without lacrosse as a distraction in a way. And so right now I'm just really working on recreating and redefining what confidence means to me and my self-worth too. Also, as I mentioned earlier, those crazy expectations, it honestly feels so good right now to just not put any pressure on anything, really, and just be able to go with the flow, because I think that's when life treats you the best, is when you just lower those expectations and let yourself live, like let yourself kind of figure things out. I'm absolutely sweating, just a side note. I also want to take some time to shout out my teammates. They are what made this decision the hardest decision that I've ever made in my life. I truly love every single one of them, and they've been so supportive of me. And it sucks that I don't see them every day, but I love them. They love me, and I'm so grateful for them. So some parting words. One of my favorite things that I've learned throughout this decision and this process is you have the strength to walk away from something that is no longer benefiting your life. It's hard to do sometimes, but you're only gonna find out that you can remove so much negativity from your life if you just have the courage to cut it out, you know? I look so tired. I slept like dookie butt last night. That's so random, but yeah. Also, another thing that I wanted to mention, my goal in life currently is to become a sports psychologist, and I want to be able to use what I've learned to help athletes not feel what I felt and do what I did to myself to them. And so yeah, that's kind of a little something about myself. But as always, and for now, if I can just help one person a day, I think that's awesome. And if anyone listening, and if you've made it this far, thank you. But if anyone listening relates to anything that I've said, this is living proof that you're not alone. And if you don't know who else to talk to about, message me, because I would love to talk to you. Okay, I think that's everything. I'm absolutely sweating, so I'm gonna head out. I'm actually, hold on, let me take a video. I'm just sitting by the beach right now. I took a walk before this, so, and the water's right there and it's staring at me, so maybe I'll just go jump in. So share this video if you want to, and if there's someone who you think would benefit from hearing what I have to say, go ahead and share it along if you want. Okay, thanks for listening. Until next time. Good boy.